Hey Rubies, welcome back to another video. This video is about the creepy stories that happened to me a few days ago. And if you want a GFX, make sure to check out the link in the description below. Now, this story time, let's just call it the knock at midnight. So, I don't usually get spooked easily, but that night was different. I live alone at the moment because my parents are at an excursion to another country, so of course I am used to the creaks and groans of an old house, especially at night. But a few nights ago, something happened that I still can't explain, and it's been on my mind since ever. It was a little past midnight, and I was lying in my bed, scrolling through my phone, trying to get sleepy. I was right on the edge of drifting off when I heard a knock. It was soft, almost polite, like someone tapping lightly on the front door. I ignored it at first, thinking I'd imagined it, but then, after a few seconds, I heard it again. They were so light that I thought maybe it was just the house settling. I got up, rubbing my eyes, and walked over to the door, and I checked over the door, but there was nothing. Just empty roads and a dark yard. For a minute, I stood there, listening and waiting for the sound to come back, but it was quiet. I figured it was probably nothing and headed back to bed. I'd barely gotten comfortable when I heard it again, except this time it was coming from the inside. I froze there, wondering, I know this house, and I've lived here long enough to know how it sounds. There's no reason I should be hearing tapping from inside. I strained to listen, holding my breath, and sure enough, the tapping came again. It was coming from the hallway closet, just a few feet away from my bedroom door. I told myself it was just my imagination, but my hands were sweating as I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Slowly, I opened my bedroom door, stepping quietly into the hallway. I walked to the closet. Every hair on my body was standing up on end. I had goosebumps. When I reached for the closet door, I hesitated. I could feel my heart hammering. I took a deep breath and opened the door. There was nothing inside, just my usual clothes and shoes. I let out a breath, almost laughing at myself. I must have been half asleep, hearing things that weren't there. I shut the closet and decided it was finally time to get some real sleep. But then, as I turned to head back to my room, I felt it. A strange prickling sensation on the back of my neck, like someone was standing right behind me. I swung around, my flashlight beam bouncing off the walls, but there was no one there. I was alone. I took a deep breath, chalking it up to my nerves, and headed back to my bed, this time closing my door firmly behind me. I wish that had been the end of it, but the next night, around the same time, I heard it again. The same light, deliberate knocking. This time, it was even closer, sounding like it was coming from the other side of my bedroom wall. I sat up, listening intently, my heart racing as the knocking continued. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I drift off, I'd hear it again, just quiet enough to make me wonder if I was imagining it. The next day, I checked the wall, the closet, even the crawl spaces under the house. Nothing seemed out of place. I was starting to think that I was losing it. Then last night, I woke up to a different sound. It wasn't knocking this time. It was more of a soft scratching, like nails dragging along wood. I turned on the light and sat up, and as I did, I noticed something that stopped me cold, right there and then. There, on the closet door, were faint marks, scratches that hadn't been there before. They were just light enough that I could convince myself they'd been there all along. But deep down, I know they hadn't. I'm writing this now because I don't know what else to do. I still hear the knocking sometimes, always around the same time. Always light and steady. I don't have an explanation, but every time I hear it, I get the same feeling. That prickling sensation on the back of my neck, like someone is standing just out of sight. And whenever I walk past the mirror in my hallway, I swear, just for a second, I see a shadow there, just over my shoulder, disappearing the moment I turn to look. Now the question is, what would you do if this happened to you?